There are three penitential disciplines which all of us have heard about, and perhaps some of us have practiced, maybe one or all three: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. In this gospel passage today, we see Jesus in prayer, and we also see that he had been fasting. Almsgiving is part of prayer and fasting because the giving of alms means that we are willing to deny ourselves of something. Could be food, it could be material things, or certain other pleasures that we enjoy throughout the rest of the year. But fasting is not designed just to cause us discomfort or hunger pains or a sense of deprivation. What fasting is also meant to do is to put us in solidarity with those who do not have what we have. Put us in solidarity with those people who are truly poor. They are physically hungry. They are poorly clothed. With those people who do not have the opportunities that we have because of the wealth that we have. Also puts us in touch with those people who lack the freedoms that we have. During this Lenten season, we are called then to be in solidarity with all of those people who are suffering in our world. Today I'm going to ask you to do something which is going to be extremely difficult. So just hang on to your seats. How many people here shop at Walmart? Almost everybody. How many shop at Target? Well, a good number of people shop at Target. How many people here buy Apple products? What about people who do business with Oracle? How many? Oracle. Computers. All kinds of technology. Most of us, in some way or other, do. And most of us are not only addicted to these things, but we're very fascinated by how much stuff we can get with very little money. I've gone into some of the department stores, even drugstores. Go into your local drugstore, Walgreens, and see all the different things that are available to us. And then take a look on the label. And where do you think it was made? Oh, how about that? All of this stuff is made in China. And we are so delighted to be able to buy so many things for maybe so little money. But do we know what goes into making those cheap goods? And I don't think many of us think about this. It's cheap labor. But it's not just cheap labor. You say, well, China has 1 billion people, and they have cheap labor. And they do have 1 billion or more people. They do have cheap labor. But they also rely a great deal on slave labor. How many people know that? Yeah, they rely on slave labor. And you know where the slaves come from? They come from oppressed populations. We've heard about the Uyghurs. They've been enslaved, persecuted. They're sent to rehabilitation centers. And they're asked to work 16 hours a day under terrible conditions to make the cheap things that we buy at Walmart. Christians are being persecuted in China. Even our own Catholic brothers and sisters are finding themselves in re-education camps. What are they doing there? They're manufacturing the cheap things that we buy from Apple and Target. You've heard of prisoners of conscience, those people who dare to think differently in China. Falun Gong. Prisons, re-education camps, workhouses, where they are physically tortured and mentally abused to make the cheap goods that we buy. It can go on and on and on. If I asked you today to give up pizza for Lent, I think for most of us, we might say, well, that's pretty doable. I could give up pizza for Lent. If I asked you to give up your booze during Lent, I think maybe some of us could do that. But if I asked you to stop buying goods made in China, how many could do that? How many are willing to do that? And it's not easy, even if you want to do it. It's very hard to find goods that aren't made in China. Let's be realistic about it. That should be something that we should consider doing for Lent, to put ourselves in solidarity with those people who are prisoners in China and working in inhumane conditions so that we can have cheap stuff. There's a book I'm going to recommend to you today. It's an excellent book. It's called Made in China. Made in China by Amelia Pang, P-A-N-G. And it can tell you the story of what is going on in these Chinese prisons, these re-education centers, these work camps, of the people that are being tortured and abused, physically and mentally and spiritually, that we can have our cheap stuff. So today is a day when I ask you to pay attention to what you are purchasing for your comfort, for your pleasure, to make your children happy, to make yourself happy or comfortable, and realize that there are human beings who are suffering for us. Lent is a time for us to get over our selfishness, and to continue to buy goods from China is selfish on our part, individually, but it's also selfish on the part of this nation. America should be ashamed of herself for allowing this to happen. And these are the people, oftentimes big business in our country, big tech, that is moving business and money and jobs to China in order for them to make their profit on slave labor. It's more egregious than that, though. It's not just about us and our personal sinfulness and our personal greed. It's the mega greed of the Western world. And in the meantime, there is a cost to pay. Oh yeah, the cost of cheap life in China. But China has now begun to own us. They have now begun to own us. How? We need them. We need them for the things that we want in this country. I had to I became speechless when I heard that the president was ordering COVID tests. 1 million COVID test kits. From where? China. And how many people say the supply chain is backed up? Well, a lot of goods can't come in from China. We can't even build cars in certain places because we don't have the parts that come from China. They own us. Financially, they're buying us. And they have a program called the Road and Belt Policy. They are planting their businesses all over the world. And they're doing it here, and in South America, and in Europe. If we don't do something about it now, it starts with us and our own self-sacrifice. Sooner or later, China will rule the world. We're now worried about Russia, aren't we? China is Russia on steroids. If we don't do something now, we'll not only lose our individual souls, but we will also lose America. God love you.